So it's gonna be my first YouTube video. Um, so I just finished Breath of the Wild, and I'll probably redo this video, um, maybe in a different room or something, different lighting, something like that. I just finished Breath of the Wild, and I must say, a little let down. Actually, not a little, but a lot. Um, in past Zeldas, whether it be Link to the Past or Ocarina, um, Twilight Princess, I felt more of a connection. Even Skyward Sword, I felt more of a connection. Sorry, that's my Pokken tournament going on. But with this one, I don't know. After the game being as open ended as being as great as it is, having the amount of fun and enjoyment that I did, there was a lot of things that I felt were vacant, or that this one was a lot, I don't know how to put it, but a lot more. It was non linear as opposed to all the other Zeldas that were linear, but at the same time, it was linear because after you did the four Divine Beasts, that was pretty much the end of the game. I'm not pleased with the way that they ended the game after you fight Calamity Ganon. That's it. The game just ends. You can't go and freely explore the world like in any of the other Zeldas. And this one just has an ending. So spoiler, whatever you need to do, you better get everything done because once you make it to the castle and you go to fight Calamity, there's really no point of return. So once you get to that save point at the sanctuary, that's pretty much it. Um, but I don't like that feeling of finality. I don't like there being an ending. I would have been cool to have had the ending, then the end credits, and then okay, you open world. Okay, yeah, it opens up master mode, big whoop. But at the end of the day, in comparison to any of the other Zeldas, I just, as great as this game was, as epic as it was, for all the great things that it did, the new weapons, the different environments, it just, it felt empty. I mean, the characters, the character with the most heart was probably Urbosa and maybe Daruk, but everybody felt very empty. The voice acting felt very, just very lifeless, very emotionally vacant. Um, but for all the great things that this game does, the amount of costumes, the amount of replay. I mean, if you don't get to the that stopping point, you can go on for 300 hours. But I didn't like that ending. There was really no for the whole game. Calamity Ganon is the villain, and Zelda, of course, being Zelda, Princess Zelda. She's gonna guide you through what you need to do. But there's no interaction with Ganon. It's not even like one of the best interactions with Ganon, of course, to me, which will always be the most memorable, was Ocarina of Time. But even still, in Wind Waker. But with this one, there's no Ganon is just, you hear about him from one of the birds from Rito Village or whatever, and they tell you the story and this and that. But there's really no interaction with Ganon. There's no, he isn't a a real villain per se in this game. But I get that they try to take away things. It's like when uh, Kojima did what he did with Metal Gear Five. They took a lot of the things that made the game, the staple that it was, or all those other things that were done so great in other games with dungeons and stuff like that. They went ahead and they did the little the runes and all of that, and they did instead of the dungeons and temples, they did the shrines. But this one just felt so empty. And after putting, I would say, 200 hours into this game, I feel a little let down. But at the same time, I still give this game on a scale of 1 to 10 because of the amount of playthrough that I've done because of all of the great things that this game does environmentally, and the hidden substance, the texture that's still there in the game that you have to dig for, kind of like in Metal Gear. Once again, you have to dig for these things, but you shouldn't have to dig for these things. Now, part of it is fun in finding it, but at the same time, I would kind of like an inkling in the right direction, you know. But that's part of it. It's freedom. It's complete freedom. Sandbox. But me personally, I'm gonna give this game an 8 out of 10. Now I know you guys are gonna say, "What? Oh my God! It's a masterpiece." It is, and it is. It's a masterpiece, and it shows how far we've come in Zelda games. But to me, as a classic Zelda fan, from Link to the Past to Wind Waker to Skyward Sword to Twilight Princess to Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask, every Zelda game has done something different. But this one, aside from Majora's Mask, where they did quirky things and they did things differently, Majora's Mask, you had the whole timer the world was going to end. And that was a completely different feel. This different feel still is a little vacant to me because of the fact that it didn't have the things that even Majora's Mask had, where, you had the world ending and you'd meet colorful characters, and this is before voice acting, any of that. This was just you just reading through text and everything, and it was such a vibrant world and it was so fun to be in. But this one, it's fun and there's characters, and you run into the old man that's painting all over the place, and you have the fairies and stuff like that. But it's not like Kakiro Village in Ocarina of Time where it feels vibrant and fun. It just seems vacant. Now, yes, the environment is lush and it's textured and it's beautiful, and it's probably one of the best visually looking games that I've ever seen done, with this dynamic contrast. But I feel a little let down for 200 hours worth of gameplay for that ending to be the biggest slap in the face ending. And then once you get to that, you're like, so I did all of this for this? And it just makes you feel, as a gamer, underappreciated. Now, in Ocarina of Time, you could still go fish after you were done with the game. You could do so many things. You could still just traverse on foot, right Epona, do whatever you wanted to do, go to Lon Lon Farm, do any of those things. Even in Wind Waker, you could travel back and forth on King of Red Lines. You could go back to this island, that island. It was still fun to go back through and play. This one feels to me like they're discouraging for you to even go back through it. It's like, oh, okay, the save point is Sanctuary. No turning back now. If you beat this, it's the end of the game, by the way, and this is what it's gonna be. The world it doesn't rewind. It doesn't go back to what it used to be before Calamity Ganon and any of that. And then, like I said, biggest letdown will be, to me, the fact that there was no build up on Ganon as a character at all, or even as a great villain. Then Ganon will always be the staple of the Zelda series. So for me to not have that this time around made me feel, as a gamer, a little underappreciated, because of the fact that everybody knows going into Zelda that it's going to be Link versus Ganon. Where was that this time around? But guys, I want to keep this video under 10 minutes. I'm not trying to rant for too long. Just a diehard Zelda fan, always will be until the end of time. Ha ha ha, pun intended. But just after beating this game for the amount of time that I put into it, and I mean, I'm an old school gamer here, and I've been playing video games for, 20 years. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel that emotional connection. When you beat a Zelda game, you're supposed to feel fulfilled, in a sense. With this one, there was no sense of fulfillment. I mean, you even had in Majora's Mask with the, collecting mask, or even in Ocarina of Time. But there was none of that this time around. So for all the things that this game did great, it also did some things poorly. And that's just what I want to illustrate, because I don't want anyone just continuing to rant about this game being the greatest thing since sliced bread, because it's not. But yeah, anyway, that's my review on Breath of the Wild. You can take it how you want. I know this was done in my bed. I'll probably do another review on this game, later, more in depth, more, you know, uh, uh, in depth critique, if you will. But anyway, that's what I want to thought of the game. Just wanted to put it out there for everybody to know. Like I said, let me know what you think in the comments below. Just let me know what you think. If I'm right, if I'm wrong, if maybe I'm just too much of a diehard Zelda fan where I just don't want things to change, or if maybe, like I said, for this to be the staple of the series and for me to feel let down, I want to know what your comments are, what you think. Just let me know. All right, peace.